Hello and welcome. It is 1 o'clock. It is the 28th day of March 2021. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OGGM, and just to compare and contrast, I'm using the new camera again, and you can already see how it's doing this little thingy. Each camera has an advantage, each camera has a disadvantage. I don't really love either of them. Thankfully, I didn't spend a lot for this Logitech, so I don't feel that disappointed. Okay. So here's my third post on PanzerCut POCGamer's adventure in Candelkeep Mysteries and all the controversy surrounding it. And let us just paraphrase first and foremost that no matter who is right in this argument and who is wrong in this argument and where the actual truth lies, POCGamer is getting a lot of free press. I mean, this has been posted in Forbes magazine, Geeks News, so no matter what, he's getting lots of free press. And no matter what, Hasbro's still getting paid. At the end of the day, Candelkeep is still selling, and Hasbro is still making the money. So really, anything I say or anything anybody else has said about it doesn't matter, because we'll never know the truth. All we know is what we see. That said, I need to apologize because I, like everybody else, when I read the original article and because I was biased by my pre-existing issues with Wizards of the Coast, believed what the guy was saying, that they did change his article and that they did, war hypocrites and stuff like that. But follow up, other people have contacted me and said, no, that is not completely true. I then went over to Seth's Games and Anime here in Ventura, California, looked through the adventure, came back home, watched crafty Mat Kraft and the Legion of Myth go step by step through the whole debacle. And again, I have to say I'm sorry, because it now looks like Wizards of the Coast is not as much in the wrong as that Mr. POCGamer Panzer has said they are. I'm not going to go into the full detail because Mat Kraft and Legion of Myth have already done it, and he's done a much better job than I can ever do about it. So I'm just going to post the link here, but let's just break it down to the bare essentials. And it's Wizards of the Coast approached this guy and said, write something for our Candelkeep Mysteries set in the Forgotten Realms. It has to be the kind of adventure that you can run in one, maybe two settings, but basically they're one-shot adventures, like pretty much all the other anthology adventures. Get a group of players, 3-6 hours, beginning, middle, and bam. Maybe it's 2, depending, but you're not supposed to be writing a campaign. Simple, easy, 5-page adventure, beginning, middle, end. And, somewhere in there he said, the back of POCGamer in the back of his mind was like, yo, Jimbo, and I'm going to follow up on some lore, and I'm going to do this and this and this. Well, apparently what he wrote was a little bit more than Wizards of the Coast asked for. Actually, according to Legion of Myth and Mat Kraft, it was a lot more. He wrote an entire campaign that would have taken months to play through, involving a lot of lore and a lot of stuff that Wizards of the Coast never asked for. So they, boiled it back down and to what they expected. And there was some, give and take. But then, as per the contract, and if you look at the contract, this is absolutely 100%, Wizards of the Coast has final say. And once you take the money, you have no more control over your product. So if they, continue to, chop it up and change it after POCGamer took the money, oh well, you took the money. And there's nowhere in the contract does it say we have to do anything other after that. So whatever we release after you took the money could be entirely what you wrote, could be 50% you wrote, could be nothing of what you wrote other than the bare outline. And again, based upon what Wizards of the Coast is saying, based upon what Mat Kraft is saying, based upon what I read, yeah, it looks like they just took he wrote a novel and they wanted a short story. So that's what they printed. As for his two major complaints about the adventure as published and why he doesn't want to have his name associated with it anymore, three complaints. First complaint was after he was paid, he chose to go out and do interviews and press about the product. He was never told to. He wasn't getting paid for it. As far as Wizards of the Coast was concerned, their relationship was done. But he was doing things in the name of Wizards of the Coast, so maybe Wizards of the Coast could have approached him and said, look, if you're going to do press conferences, these are the points we want you to talk about. They didn't have to, but they could have. Also, he could have approached Wizards of the Coast and said, look, I'm going to go do these press conferences. Is there anything you want me to talk about? I mean, actors and actresses, when they do press conferences, usually have to, get what they can talk about and not talk about and what clip they're going to show ahead of time, especially if you work for the MCU. But, support me, Water. So, give or take, he went out, he did these interviews, he said my adventures about this. He never asked Wizards of the Coast if that was okay. Wizards of the Coast never told him that was okay. That's maybe somewhere in the middle of that, there's what actually happened. Two, Wizards of the Coast made the UNT all evil, and what I wrote was, this battle between the good UNT and the evil UNT with the poor Gripply stuck in the middle. Yo Jimbo, fistful of dollars. That's not what Wizards of the Coast wrote. I looked at it, other people looked at it, and it's exactly, there is a group of good UNT, whatever the good UNT is, that apparently they're a carryover from Tomb of Annihilation, and a group of evil UNT. The group of good UNT are trying to do something. The evil UNT are trying to stop them from doing something because they want to maintain their control on UNT. And stuck in the middle were the Gripply, the frog people. And the evil UNT were doing things to the frog people. And you, the adventurers, are stuck in the middle, helping the Gripply, trying to stop the bad UNT. But maybe, I don't know, do I want the good UNT? I don't know, whatever, Everybody had their own reasons for being there, but between the Game of Thrones that he wrote and the 5-page short story that Wizards of the Coast wanted for a one-shot adventure about player characters stuck in the middle between these UNT and these Gripply, it's still basically good UNT and evil UNT, and he has repeatedly made a point that Wizards of the Coast changed that, and that is categorically not true. The third point was that how they portrayed the Gripply as primitive, and they used colonial imagery that he was very offended by, especially since Wizards of the Coast had said we're not doing that anymore. Okay, but if you read the adventure, which I did, and other people who were very smarter than me, like Mat Kraft did, the Gripply had a agrarian, swamp-based, druidic, happy life. The evil UNT came in, kicked them out of their village because the village was in the way, and put them basically in refugee camps. And of course the refugee camp is going to look primitive because they've only been there a little bit and they're working with what they have. If you've seen any refugee camp on any, documentary about what's going on in any war-torn country, FEMA camps or whatever, you've got people living in basically corrugated boxes and shipping crates and overturned trucks and just whatever they can make out of. So yes, and the word primitive is only word used once in relation to initial, this is what you see. It looks like a rapidly put together primitive, refugee camp. But other than that, there's no mention of the Gripply being any way, shape, or form primitive cave frogs. If you look at the information about their pre-existing culture, they had a pretty, what you would expect for a bunch of frogs living in a swamp-based environment. It would be, the closest thing I could think of would be the start of Pirates of the Caribbean. They had temples, and they had culture, and they had shops, and they had houses, and they had a society and structures that had built up over years and years and years. But then these evil UNT, much like, developers, just came through and So I guess that's the colonialism, because the UNT kicked them out. And that is, colonialism. But as for the colonial imagery of the 4 pictures in the actual adventure that relate to it, 3 of them are of books. Only 1 of them is of a UNT. I mean, of a Gripply. Do I keep getting, whatever. UNT snake people, Gripply frog people. Frog people stuck in the middle, evil snake people, good snake people. There we go. The only picture of the frog people is just a frog person standing there holding a pitchfork, like you would expect to see a peasant picture, and then the stat block. Also, if you look at the stat block for the UNT in the module, it doesn't say good or evil. It simply says UNT. So yes, I have to apologize. I called out Wizards of the Coast for being hypocrites. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't retract my statement. I looked at the adventure, and if he said, I wrote an adventure where there was good UNT and evil UNT, Gripply stuck in the middle, that is the published adventure. There's a group of good UNT, there's a group of evil UNT, and there's a bunch of Gripply stuck in the middle, and the player characters have to come in and do. What Wizards of the Coast edited is they took his Game of Thrones and edited down to what he contractually agreed to. And it feels like if there is any fault on Wizards of the Coast's part in this debacle, it's that he went out and did these press conferences after he took the money, and Wizards of the Coast never said to him, these are the things you can't say. On the other hand, he never asked. So, I'm sorry, Wizards of the Coast. I mean, I'm not, Hasbro, whatever. There are definitely choices you've made in Candelkeep and Tasha's I still do not agree with. But on this one, I gotta say Wizards of the Coast is not in the wrong. The contract is clear of what it is you agreed to, Mr. Whatever your name is, Panzer. Wizards of the Coast told you what the contract was. You took the money. Anything that happened to your product after that, you took the money. I mean, this reminds me a lot of what started the writer's strike in the 90s, where writers are like, they changed my thing after I got paid for it and I'm upset, so I'm going on strike. And the studios are like, no, we gave you money. You don't have any say in it whatsoever. Once you're paid for the job done, you cannot go back and say, I don't want to be associated with that job. You took the money. So it doesn't matter what happens after. You took the money. And also, because you are, whatever, I got nothing else to say. At the end of the day, Panzer, POCGamer, is getting a lot of free press out of this. I mean, it's been on Forbes Geek News. Wizards of the Coast is being made to look like a bad guy, and in a situation where they're not the bad guy, but they're still getting paid because there's no such thing as bad press. So everybody comes out ahead of this. POCGamer's coming out ahead because he's getting press. Wizards of the Coast is coming out ahead because they're getting press. People are going to go out and read Candelkeep, buy Candelkeep, and this is going to be one of the 10 reasons they want it. Like me, now they got to go see whether this guy's telling the truth or not. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I say or what anybody else says. All that matters is POCGamer's getting attention and Wizards of the Coast is getting money. So again, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I called Wizards of the Coast out for being hypocrites, and in this case, they're not. The adventure is pretty much what you said it was, Panzer. So I'm not sure what your complaint is, other than you wrote Game of Thrones, and Wizards of the Coast published a 5-page short story. So I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming. If you appreciate this content, comment down below. If you never want to hear me talk about this crap ever again, comment down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 400 subs, 500 subs by August 4th, and we'll do something crazy. Check out the links to Legion of Myth and Mat Kraft, who go into this much better than I do. But now I have to go, hang my head in shame because I made a mistake. So get off my lawn.